What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. It's wow, like shit, you know, it's like we're already like we're in summer. It's the heart of summer. It's June. Fuck, man, before you know it, it'll be Christmas time. What are you gonna do? I hope you guys are having a good, enjoyable summer, spring. It's how, like, I don't know, it's that anxiety. Like in California, I don't give a shit. But for all you people in the Midwest and in the East Coast, like all of a sudden you're excited for like summer to get here, and you're just like, fuck, it's June. Like it's almost over. It happens fast, so I empathize. Thanks for tuning in. It's another fantastic Ask Nick episode for you. Can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Do you guys want to go ahead and give us 5-star reviews on iTunes? Sure would mean a lot to me. I just, you know, my ego, as we talk about ego, needs that validation. Honestly, it's really good for the show. It is. And, you know, who knows? If you don't do it, we might not be able to provide the show for you. You know, is that a threat? That's a
little bit of a threat. Just a little bit.
Anyway, well, maybe. I don't know. So is it that hard? Just go. I don't even need a review. Don't. You could say we're awesome. Just click on the 5-star. I don't know. Sometimes I just want a little love and validation. Hey, I can admit it. I have my weak moments too. For you, we have a great week lined up for you. So there's this episode that you're listening to. Tell your friends, obviously. And then tonight we are back for another Bachelor recap with the wonderful friend of show, Chriselle Staus is with us. Also, hey, I'm on this episode of The Bachelorette. I haven't seen it yet, but I hear it's a doozy. Everyone cries. I kind of come in and kind of change, you know, the trajectory of the season. Not necessarily intentionally. You never really know how things play out, but
I don't know why everyone's crying.
I show up early on and I try to hold these guys accountable. You know, it's all like Katie doesn't have much time to find love, and we need to know everything. We can't. Everyone likes to show up on these fucking shows and be like, "Hey, let me tell you how awesome I am." By the way, I have a sad story that's going to endear you to me and my family in America. But I was more interested in why they might suck.
Yes. Now there's a little bit more of a crumb than you were dropping.
So these guys, you know, might share why they might suck, and they cry.
That's amazing.
But in all seriousness, there was a lot of vulnerability, and that's all I'll share. I haven't seen it
like
yet,
that campfire style thing that like Claire did kind of thing.
I guess. I don't know.
I dig it.
We'll see. Anyway, Chriselle is going to be joining us to break it all down, and we'll keep working hard to give you the best possible podcasts available. So thanks for listening to us. Let's get to our callers.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
Good. My name's Alana, 29.
Hi, Alana. How can I help?
So I have been single for a while.
Congratulations. It's awesome.
I know. It's been pretty nice, actually. Right. I've enjoyed being single. I'm not really sure if I'm ready for a relationship, but it's I'm trying to get myself out there again.
Okay.
And I've always kind of dated I don't know, jerks, like not very nice people. So I'm trying to branch out and date like maybe the nice guy or like people that, you know, have a little bit more to them. And I feel like lately, over the past even just like year or two, I've been finding myself in these dating situations where I'm with people who are extremely like passive and just not forward and kind of shy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's fine. Like, I don't mind being the first person to make a move or like all of that stuff, but I just don't find it very attractive. Like when somebody doesn't like pursue me in that way, or like if I have to like ask somebody to kiss me, or like, I don't know, I'm struggling. And I don't know if this is my problem or if this is like, if I'm just being too picky, like, I don't know. And so I'm like, I need to ask Nick this.
Well, I we've talked about this before. Like with Sheila, I don't really think it's just like, I don't think there's like two type of guys. There's nice guys and assholes. You know,
right,
like most things, there's a bit of a spectrum of guys, right? And yeah, I don't think it's attractive for men to be so passive and so afraid of rejection and so desperate for relationships themselves that they are like little puppies just hoping for validation and approval and are asking if you're okay and asking if they can do that. Like, that's not a nice guy. That's an insecure guy who doesn't know how to be confident in himself and his feelings and set boundaries for himself at the fear of, being rejected. Like, men and women have the same problem when it comes to dating often, is they're just afraid of not being liked and validated, right? And they often compromise the things they know they deserve and the things that they want because they just want to be liked. They want to be accepted. Yeah. They want to be validated. And sometimes when they start dating, they will maybe like a guy might like a girl because he just thinks she's hot. Mm-hmm. Right? And then he's focused on that, and then he's not setting boundaries for himself, and then he decides to be treated a certain way. Obviously, and women will do that too. Women do it a lot, right? Mm-hmm. And then, your asshole guys, like, yeah, there's some extreme asshole guys who are really good at, just kind of being condescending and negging a little bit. And instead of just saying, wow, you're really beautiful, I love your hair, you're just like, oh, that's an interesting haircut, And it's like there's a whole science behind, pickup artist guys who never really make a woman feel confident, secure. They kind of always make her feel a little bit insecure, so that what she wants to do is keep getting validation from whatever guy is doing this, right? So that's the extreme. Right. So it's just kind of trying to find that balance, right? So when you're out there, like, yeah, if you're interested in a guy, and put yourself out there and say you like him. I mean, whether a guy hitting on you or you hitting on them is just step one. Like, there's been plenty of times that I can get nervous talking to women, right? But I'm definitely have been someone in relationships and in dating that have certainly like stood my ground and had boundaries of the things I didn't like or liked, right? Sometimes at the risk of being called an asshole, because I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that, Right. But I've always been respectful and courteous and also paid attention to the things that they liked or didn't like. And then sometimes we just agreed to disagree and moved on. Mm-hmm. So like, when you say I'm always dating the assholes, like, what are these guys like? Like, what are some of the qualifications what are some of the things that they're doing?
I mean, I think I just find it attractive when somebody's really forward and, pursues me.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And then what happens?
And then they're a little too forward and confident, and they turn into kind of just arrogant people, like, I don't like arrogant people or full of themselves, or like, it's just not, then I lose interest, and they, I just want somebody who can be respectful, but confident in themselves. And I feel like I just keep now choosing these people who aren't really confident, but are very respectful and very kind. And so, yeah, it's been hard. Yeah. And I'm trying to push myself into that. Like, I've been hanging out with this guy who I've hung out with him, 5 or 6 times now. And I try to be even a little touchy-feely, try to make him feel comfortable. And he has yet to make any move or make, any type of physical touch. It's just almost feels like rejection,
Yeah. So maybe move on. I mean, I think it's great that you are recognizing that you have a pattern, right? And it's great that you're going outside of the box. But, if you've been going out with this guy for five different times, and you're making it pretty clear, making moves, and he's just not responding. Either A, he lacks the confidence to like make a move, or B, he's not into you. Either way, it's ran its course. I mean, it's like 5 times is a good amount of time to like give things an opportunity. Masterclass, that's right. It's no better time to be an expert in literally whatever it is you want to be an expert in, and you can do that with Masterclass. It is one of the coolest things I've ever experienced for myself. It's an amazing gift, and what it is the opportunity to be taught by truly the experts in their class, like being a master, like with Wayne Gretzky. Would you like Wayne Gretzky to teach you anything? I know I would, and you can with Masterclass. Whether it's dog training, cooking, photography, filmmaking, the art of negotiation, all taught by the best in their class with Masterclass. And like I said, I bought it for myself. I've given it as a gift to my family members and friends. They all love it. It's super cool. It's done so well. when you sign up for Masterclass, you get their entire catalog, and they have so many masters in their classes, and they're constantly adding to it.
They have so many new people out and about. They have a lot of new master classes you can take. So like Tyler Mitchell teaches storytelling through portrait and photography. You can do even bread baking. Gordon Ramsay does recipes. Robin Roberts with her communication.
Gordon
Anna
Ramsay.
Wintour.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Gordon Ramsay is my king. I love him so much.
So there you go. I mean, need we say more? Get unlimited access to every masterclass, and as a Viall File listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/VIALL. That is masterclass.com/VIALL for 15% off Masterclass. Hey, everybody. Hey, I just bought a house not too long ago, and obviously I have a car, and I need insurance on both. And The Zebra helped me save hundreds of dollars over the course of a year. Might even be thousands at this point. Either way, it was such a relief to me to get to know that I had the best insurance policy for my peace of mind while not paying an arm and a leg. And the Zebra is the nation's leading insurance comparison site for car and home insurance. In minutes, you can compare policies from every major provider for free, all in one independent marketplace. After a few quick questions, the Zebra pairs people with the right insurance company for them, helping everyone save time and money. Buy online or over the phone with one of the licensed insurance agents. There's no hidden fees, no fine print about your personal information. Best of all, the Zebra has no stake in the game in the policy that you choose. Make insurance your smartest purchase yet. Visit thezebra.com/VIALL to get your free quote today. That's thezebra.com/VIALL. Just move on. Don't fall in the trap of is he rejecting me or not? The point is, it's not going the direction you want, whatever the reason is, right? So
yeah, that's true.
So just know when to cut your losses. And as far as the guy who comes up to you and says, "Hey, babe, what's up?" and he's super confident, that's great. And it's great to be turned on by that. It's great to be that's awesome. But don't stop paying attention to how he treats you after that. If he's being disrespectful, dismissive, right, to be "Hey, I'm glad you're assertive, but don't talk to me that way."
Right.
So again, it's all about knowing your boundaries. It's all about having certain things, whether it's with nice guys or with your more assertive men, you still have your boundaries of what you're willing to put up with and how your expectations of being treated. And as soon as some, guy who slides in your DM or approaches you at the grocery store and has this bravado and confidence, as soon as he starts being disrespectful or dismissive, then you're just well, yeah, I don't do that, right? And let them and vocalize that, and I think that'll help you weed out the guys, right? And depending on who you're meeting, it could be just communication. Guys who have a lot of bravado, they still have a lot of insecurities too, right? So if you check the right guy, he might be you know what? I'm sorry, you're right. What am I thinking? I am being an asshole. I'm sorry. And then you communicate, and then you grow. And then if a guy doesn't respond something like that, and if he gaslights you or makes you feel bad about yourself or just disappears and ghosts you, that's not a reason to chase. Just once again, you just be yep, right, got my answer there. I just move on, and you're going to weed out a lot of people you're not into. Again, if you just accept the reality when you're dating, there's going to be a far greater number of people that's not going to be a right fit for you then you have a less likely chance to get discouraged when all these things happen. It's not oh my God, there's no great people. It's just you're only, again, I'll say it 100 times more, you're only looking for one, just one. Yeah. Right. So the more boundaries you have and the more you pay attention to it early on and set these standards for yourself, whether it's the nice guys you say or the asshole, you'll be able to figure out if that nice guy has a little bit of swag and he's just trying to be respectful early on, just trying to be a respectful king in the 2021 climate that we're living in, right? Yeah. Or is the assertive guy still have some insecurities and he just overplayed his hand, but as soon as you check him, he's just you know what? I'm sorry. That's not who I am. I like you. I just want to be, got a little carried away there. Right. And just, don't just let them do their thing, again, the more boundaries you have, and it's not and boundaries aren't like, I don't do this and I don't do that. And, you know, and just say like, yeah, I just have like boundaries. You can set your boundaries without like sounding negative. And, you know, and don't like lead like on a dating app, don't like have all the things you don't do or all the things you're not looking for. Let someone do something that you don't like to set the boundary that you're, you know, expecting, and just be super chill about it. But like, I don't know, that was weird. Why did, you know, I don't deal with that, but it's cool it's fine. Not for me. I'm going to just move on, you know? Is that helpful?
So that is helpful. I do have one last question, because like with this guy, and I always end up feeling bad when I just am like, this is not going to work. And this guy is very like emotionally invested. Like he really likes me, and now I don't know what to do.
What does he like about you?
He likes that confidence that I have, and he likes my personality, and we do have fun together, but he's very funny. I don't want to have to like
but at some point you do have to be willing to communicate what you want.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's not a perfect situation, but like, what if just be like, hey, I've been kind of like putting it out there and you're not, you know, doing anything about it. Like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, is that so bad?
No.
Sometimes
I hate to offend people.
Yeah. Well, that's something that's good that you can point that out, but your fear of offending people, and that's playing a big role. And your ability to set boundaries for yourself, whether it's the asshole or the nice guy. Because either way, you're worried about, you know, how I don't want to make them mad. And because you're so worried about offending them, you're not setting your boundaries, and therefore you're not checking anyone.
That's such a good point.
So really work on that.
Okay.
You know?
Yep.
Speak your mind. You're not being a dick. Just set your boundaries. And until you can do that, you're not going to be able to set boundaries. And if you can't set boundaries, you're not going to be able to express yourself and show people all you want. So you're going to have all these guys just kind of guessing and you know, your guys who think they are supposed to be super macho around you might overplay their hand. And guys who want to be super respectful will overplay that hand. And there are guys who are just, she's still there? All right.
Yeah.
There are guys who are just kind of soft, right? Simpy, for whatever you want to call, who just haven't found their confidence. And there are guys who are just fucking pigs, assholes, jerks, and they think, you know, the treat a girl like shit, and you know, like those extremes do exist, right? And you're trying to, and until you can express yourself, you're not gonna be able to find the guys who are just like they're just trying to do what they think you want them to do, but you're not expressing yourself because you don't want to offend them, so they're just guessing and getting it wrong.
Okay. Yep. That's a good point.
So do that.
Okay. I will work on that.
It's like literally nothing bad's going to happen if you hurt someone's feelings.
Yes. I need to tell myself that, especially the nice guy. I think that's the hardest part, is that
like,
nice
hey,
guy.
bro, like I'm trying to do some shit here. Like what's going on? You know? and then he's like, oh, I just, you know, I didn't know, whatever. And that might be probably his response. Right. And then if the next time he's still real passive, then you know that this guy is just too passive for you. You've given him, you've given him the green light, and he's still like sitting in neutral. Then it's just like, this guy just doesn't know how to step on the gas.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then the opposite's true of the guy who leads with a little bit more bravado. Mm-hmm. All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Hopefully that was helpful.
It was. All
right. Take care.
You too. All
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Canva, that's right. If you have graphic design needs and you're just trying to be the best kick-ass marketer you can be, get Canva Pro now. And I tell you what, it's how my assist, I don't know what I call you guys, my wonderful team, they owe it all to Canva. They're faking it till they make it with Canva.
Yeah, we love Canva. Canva makes anybody look like a graphic design pro. They have a ton of awesome templates that we can use from everything from our social posts to marking up invitations, and they have an amazing selection of fonts and graphics.
Yeah, that's right. No matter what you've created and what you're sharing, Canva Pro has everything you need in one place, including a collection of over 75 million premium photos, videos, audios, and graphics. Wow, that's amazing. So act like a pro, sound like a pro, look like a pro, even if you're not, with Canva. Design like a pro with Canva. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial when you use my promo code VIALL. Just go to canva.me/VIALL to get your free 45-day extended trial. That's canva.me/VIALL. Canva.me/VIALL. Modern fertility. Anyone family planning out there, you can never have too much information. It's such a sensitive time when you're trying to have a kid, and maybe you just know you want a kid. And I empathize. I have lady friends and my siblings, and sometimes no matter where you are in your life, knowing how your bodies are working, what's going on, it's always great to know. And modern fertility is making it easier for women to get the information they desire to plan the families that they want. They also are very sensitive to the sensitivity of the issue, and you can get a ton of information about your fertility and your body through modern fertility. Knowledge is power, and when you know more, you can make better decisions for your body, your health, and your future. There aren't many decisions bigger than having a kid, but for many women, their fertility is a big question mark. You've probably thought about the next steps in your career or your relationship, but what about planning for kids? Women are having children later in life, but biology hasn't changed, and we need the tools to understand the future of our fertility. Just a single prick, you can get all this information, just a single prick, no pun intended.
Well, also it's important to mention that it's not just for children. They do egg counts and menopause timing, and you can find out if you have any thyroid disorder. So it really does help if you take that test, and then you can bring it to your doctor, and then you can get overall women's health kind of issues. It's really helpful in that way.
And that's why modern fertility was created. It's the easy and affordable way to test your fertility hormones at home with a simple finger prick. Finger prick, important to note. Mail it in with a prepaid label, and you'll get a personalized result. And you'll get your personalized results within 10 days. Traditional testing with a doctor can cost over $1,000, but modern fertility only costs $159 to get the same information. And if you go to modernfertility.com/VIALL, you get an additional $20 off. So that means your test will cost $139 instead of the hundreds or thousands it would cost at a doctor's office. So head to modernfertility.com/VIALL today. How's it going?
Hey, it is Brittany. I'm 33.
Hi, Brittany. How can I help?
Well, I think I may have made a really huge mistake, and I'm hoping that you can help talk it through with me, honestly.
Great. I mean, not great, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
So basically, in January, I broke up with my boyfriend.
Uh-huh.
We had been dating for 2 years.
Okay.
And we were friends for 3 years before that.
Uh-huh.
And basically, I just think that I made a really big mistake breaking up with him. Over the last 6 months, I've kind of been thinking about stuff, going through stuff in my head, and I think I messed it up.
Why?
Because, well, I'll give you a bit of backstory of the relationship, I guess.
Man, 1 second.
Yeah.
Let's start with, before you get to the backstory, I don't know if we'll need it, but when you broke up with them, what were the reasons you broke up with them?
The reasons I broke up with him were, so we were working together at the time. Okay. And he spent nearly every night at my house. So we were basically together 24/7. There was zero time to miss one another. It was just always. And also I was his boss when we were together. So it just created a weird dynamic in the relationship. We handled it pretty well, but every once in a while it would just kind of be just too much togetherness, if I could put it like that.
Uh-huh.
So we were having a bit of issues, just in that, I don't know, it felt like a bit of a rut. It was just kind of the same thing every day, same thing. And so, I tried to express that to him, and he, the first time, just kind of was a little dismissive of it, not because he was doing it in a malicious way, but I just don't really think it crossed his mind that things couldn't be perfect. And so he just didn't really know how to handle that conversation or what to say in that conversation when I said I was having, issues.
You know that to be a fact, or you're just telling yourself this now?
I know that because after we talked again a while later, once kind of things settled in a little bit with the issues that I was having, he's like, I just didn't know what to say that day, that kind of thing.
So to be clear, the issues you broke up with him were 100% around the awkwardness and complications of being his boss and working together?
No, not 100%. That was the biggest contributing factor, I guess.
What else, though?
It was kind of weird in that, like, our friends and family knew we were dating, but we were also friends with a lot of people at work, but none of them could know we were dating because I was his boss. And social media, obviously, neither of us post anything on social media anyways, but it still was secret there too. And then I guess the biggest reason that kind of made me break up with him when I did is that the chances of him getting posted to somewhere very remote and far away are very high. And so I was really afraid that if, I'm already feeling a little bit wishy-washy about the relationship, what if he gets posted somewhere insane and 6 months down the line, I'm like, what if I don't love him enough to make that jump? And so I guess I was cutting my losses and making that decision for both of us that we wouldn't have to make that choice. He could do what was best for him and not resent me, and I could not resent him by making me go somewhere that I don't want to go, even though I still love him. So that was kind of the biggest reason behind it. Since then, I found out where he actually is going to be posted, and it is in the middle of nowhere, and it's about 1,000 miles away from where we're both from. And I find myself thinking that I wouldn't even care going there. Like I would go there to be with him. And, it's temporary. It's not going to be forever in that place.
Okay. So have you told him this, or like what?
No, I have not told him this. I actually FaceTimed with him last night to just kind of catch up a little bit because we still talk now and then.
So what's the problem?
I'm afraid to tell him that that's what I want to do, just in case. Like, I don't want to jump into it because it's one of those things that if I say this is how I'm feeling and this is what I want to do, it's all in. Like, it's not like, I'm kind of feeling this way. Cause like, I'm the one that broke up with him. I can't be the asshole that's like, just kidding. And then change my mind again or something like that. I can't do that. So I just want to make sure I'm so sure about it before I actually do it and tell him that.
How old is he?
He's 9 years younger than I am. So he's 24.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. I keep thinking like, hey, when I was 24, I was engaged to a different person and I got married a year later. And so I'm like, he has so much to live and so much like heartbreak and stuff to go through that he hasn't had the chance to experience. And that I think everyone needs to experience, but that's me putting that out there. And that's not his viewpoint, but
I think it's great that you are trying to think for you and be empathetic to his feelings, and that you've already probably put him through some emotional distress, but you're still talking. So like, let's be honest, if you're still in some sort of communication, he is choosing as an adult to, burn some sort of flame for you, I mean, like, you're not pals. So like, I'm sure you are friends, but like, that's not why you're still talking.
True.
All you can do is be honest. I understand, like, in a perfect world, you would know. And like, I hate it when people are just like, once I know, I'm 100%. No, you're not. Like, no one is. Like, things change.
Yeah.
Like, you might be someone who like doesn't know how to like go on, like a reasonable speed, and so you have to work on the fact that I'm either, stepping on the gas or I like detach myself. That's not healthy. But like, you just got to be honest with him.
Yeah.
He's an adult, right? It might take some sacrificing your part. Are you legit willing to move, knowing that you guys could get it wrong? Are you,
That's-
ask yourself, are you just impatient, bored? And usually when people break up with someone and then second guess their decision, it's because they're impatient with finding something better.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I have always been a firm believer in your ex is your ex for a reason. You broke up for a reason. Don't romanticize the good stuff and forget about the reasons why you broke up.
But yeah, I mean, if you broke up with him while you liked him and you were just trying to mitigate risk of the future you didn't know, and now you're ready to accept that risk, that might be a reason to reconsider. I mean, like, you're asking me if there's a way you can go about this to ensure no feelings are hurt in the future, then the answer is no. Like, it's just, you both just have to decide. Yeah. You seem self-conscious enough that you don't want to hurt him and you're not being cavalier. Just the simple fact that you're calling it and asking means that, like, you know, like, you give enough of shits that you don't want to be a dick about it, because a lot of people would just panic and call, be like, I'm so sorry, I love you. And like, they're just reacting, and you're not reacting. You're giving it some thought. You felt this way for a while, and now you're deciding what you want to do. So level with them. Like, hey, like, I don't know, you might not feel the same way, but I've realized that, you know, this time without you and has made me really second guess my, you know, I don't have any guarantees, and you might change your feelings towards me, and we probably have some things we have to work on. But what I am sure of is that I miss what we have or had, and I miss being a regular part of your life, and I want to make the effort to see if we can build on this and see where it goes. Yeah. That's all you can do, you know?
Yeah.
I recognize that I would be willing to move if that's what you want. And that's, you know, and, you know, make no mistake, I'm not, you know, you're not saying, I love you, let's get married tomorrow, I promise I'll never hurt you. Don't say things you know not to be you don't know are true. So don't promise them forever. Promise the fact that, like, you regret your decision for quitting on the relationship based off of fear and the unknown. You promise not to do that again. And if you guys decide that the relationship isn't going to work out, if you do decide to get back together, it will be based off of what you know in the moment and not what you're afraid might happen.
Yeah.
And he will have the right to, you know, question that about you, because what you have shown him is that you have been, you walked away with, based off of the unknown, and the unknown's always going to exist. So, you know, he has a reason to be insecure about, like, well, how do I know you won't do this again? And that's just something you guys are gonna have to work through again.
Totally. Absolutely. I've been struggling with, you know, if I do decide to tell him, when to actually tell him, because he still has 2 more months being far away in training. And so, yeah. I don't want to like disrupt everything he's doing. He's focusing so hard and he's doing so well that I don't want to like be like, hey, surprise, I'm still in love with you. And, you know, put a wrench in his focus because he's doing so well.
Well, I don't know. Like, you're still talking. I mean, again, he's talking to you. So he is choosing to talk to you, obviously. So you have 2 choices. You could just tell him now and let him process. He's an adult. I mean, like, you know what? He can't focus on his, like, either he likes you or he doesn't. If he doesn't like you, he'll be like, hey, listen, I think you're great and I really like our talks, but I realize that, you know, maybe this isn't for me. And that's something you'll have to process. And then you'll have to be nice and respectful about it, and not be a dick and not throw things in his face. And or he is excited and hears, and then you're just like, all right, let's work through it. He only has 2 months left. I mean, the short of you, the only thing you really want to prevent is you say this to him, and then 3 weeks later, you like totally do a 180 and be like, oh my God, just kidding. I don't want to move out again. That would be a fucking dick move. And that would probably fuck with him. But I don't see a situation where you say, you give him all, you're vulnerable, and you say, this is how I feel. You know, I would like to keep talking to you, and he either doesn't or he does. Either way, he's in control of this decision, it feels like.
1,000,000%.
Right?
Which is it's kind of nice to have actually him in control of it, because I feel like so much of our relationship I was inadvertently in control of stuff.
No, I mean,
So-
you know, you're 9 years older than him, and women tend to mature more than men. So yeah, being aware of the fact that like I got to make sure he has a voice in this relationship, because if you want a relationship with him, regardless of your age difference, it will have to be 50-50 in terms of the value you guys bring to the relationship, and
Yeah.
you're not looking for someone you can mentor or babysit and you know, coach him up to be a man, you know, like he's got to so
Nah.
I think you're
He's-
fine, you know. It's good that you're being respectful, so just do it in a way, and as long as you are 100% sure that you're not going to back out, you know, once you get the answer you want, then I think you're fine to do and express yourself however you feel.
Yeah, true. That's true. I think the hardest people to tell will be my friends and family. If he does say yes, be like, see you later in like 4 years when this is done. Go to another province.
Well, just be really sure that's what you want, and maybe give it
Yeah.
another week to think about that, or things like
Yeah.
that. So it's really hard to be honest with yourself when you're trying to get something.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
So like, yeah, like
Yeah.
listen, but you could move there, and you guys just realize that like you guys don't have what it takes to make it work, and you can leave, and then he'll think you're an asshole. Like, you know, that's life.
Yeah, I guess so.
It sounds like you're trying to be as empathetic and selfless as possible, all while trying to, you know, get what you want from a relationship standpoint, which we all have the right to do. So I say, you know, just make sure and then go for it, and, you know, see what he says.
Fair enough. I'm glad to hear you say that. It was kind of what my mind was thinking anyways, and I always agree with everything you say on the show. So I was like, if I'm being an asshole, Nick will tell me I'm being an asshole, so I'll ask him.
Yeah, it sounds like you're trying not to be an asshole. That's all we can really do. And there's no guarantee, you know, I can't predict the future, and neither can you. So just stop, you know, quitting just because you're afraid of what could happen.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And again, just be honest. Just try to be as honest with yourself as possible. Why you want this thing, and it is harder to be honest with yourself when you're trying to get something.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking to a counselor to try to talk through my shit, and that's helping as well. So hopefully,
Yeah, I think it'd
all
be
that together, and
It would be a tougher sell if you were like, I haven't spoke with him in 4 months, and I have no idea how he feels. Like, it sounds like you guys are still in each other's
Yeah.
lives, where I feel like this is not going to be some big, moment.
yeah, maybe.
I don't know if you noticed, but I still like talking to you.
Surprise.
So
Yeah, true.
make a joke. Be like, I was thinking about moving to wherever the fuck.
Yeah. Hey, I was looking at housing prices. They're way better there because no one wants to live there. So maybe I might go buy a house there.
Yeah. So, and there's always risk. You date someone younger, you might be in control now, but what happens in
Yeah.
4 or 5 years?
Yeah, it's true.
You know. So
Yeah. You're right, though. Everything's unknown, though. That's the thing. It is all unknown.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think you're gonna be okay.
Cool.
Best of luck.
Well, thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye. How's it going?
Hi, Nick. My name is Claudia. I'm 27 and I am from Warsaw, Poland.
Great. Welcome. How can I help?
So just a quick backstory. I started dating a guy I work with and we agreed that we were exclusive, just FYI. Then he cheated. Then he broke up with me without telling me what was the real reason. But then only after I guessed,
Question: did you know he cheated when he broke up with you?
No, so only after he broke up with me, but I was like, well, that's kind of sus. I don't think that's that. Like, I couldn't believe his reasoning because it was like, oh, we don't have anything in common. I'm like, that's bullshit. But then he was like, don't do this to yourself. And I'm like, do what? Did you like fuck a girl at a party? And he was like, yes, I did that. So I basically guessed, and that's what happened. But it was like, it's been like 3 months. I found your podcast on TikTok, obviously. But then I also started going to therapy like before all of this happened. But I do have to admit that your podcast helped me a bit more than the therapy, because you're just like spitting facts. And the
Great to
therapist
hear.
can't be like that.
Therapy is so good though. Yeah.
Yes, it's good. But then when you have someone like you don't, like we don't talk directly, but then I listen to other people's stories and they're like, you're just like, you can relate. But
Well, that's great to hear.
like,
So what's going on with this guy,
Thank
or
you, thank you.
what are you trying to figure out?
Well, it's been like 3 months since all of that happened. Like, we still work together, but I'm in a really good place. And I look at him and I go like, ew. So I think that's a good place to be.
Awesome. Yeah.
But I just kind of feel like I haven't like fully moved on, because I still seek attention from him. And like, I think like behind that, there's like validation that I'm seeking. And that's like my biggest issue.
Yeah.
And I kind of know, like going to therapy, I kind of know that comes from like insecurities and lack of self-confidence. And that's what making me seek the validation from a dude who slept with another girl while being in a relationship with me. But my question is, how do you actually start loving yourself so much that you don't need anyone else to love you like that and validate you?
Well, I mean, again, I think it's one of those things you got to be careful not to be too hard on yourself or overdiagnose yourself, right? Part of your problem is that you work with this guy, right? In a normal situation, if you dated someone and they cheated on you, and you found out and you broke up, and it sounds like all things being equal, like you're doing okay, right? You're not like wondering why, but you fucking see him every day, and every day you're reminded when you see him of this rejection that you felt, or his choosing to have sex with someone else while in a relationship with you. And while you might be like, this shit happens, I don't know, whatever, like that's a him problem, your ego's pissed, right? Like it's an ego thing, and I don't know if this is really like, and there's a good chance that if you didn't work with him, your ego wouldn't be reminded of how it was rejected, right? Now, if you're talking about like self-love and things like that, we all are, I think at times struggle with self-love. But I don't think I think it's totally fine if we never get to a place where we love ourselves so much that we are indifferent to being hurt by people we care about. And he might not have been the love of your life, right? But it hurt you, and that's okay. It has only been 3 months, and the ew that you feel is a good, healthy thing, but the validation you seek is most likely your ego saying, see how much he regrets it. You're like, your ego wants to test him.
Yeah.
It wants the validation. It wants to see if he regrets it. It's like you might not want him, but you want him to be sorry for fucking up.
Yes.
Right?
But how do you get to a place? Yeah.
You just have to,
Go ahead.
keep your ego under control. You just recognize that this is my ego. This is not me. And like you're always going to have an ego. And sometimes like we spend a lot of time talking about ego and stuff like ego's not always bad. Ego can be, help you motivate you to being your best self, like self-love, right? We talk a lot about self-love and accepting yourself. Now, personally, I don't think self-love stops at just simply looking in the mirror and being like, I love everything about you. Like, I don't know. I don't love everything about me. There are things that I have that are weaknesses and shortcomings. Now, control what you can control. Like, there's things that I am who I am, and I have to accept and love that I have to accept and love me for that, right? But I think real self-love comes with like, well, also what things could I do better and control? Like I love myself enough to do things for myself, to invest in myself, whatever that is. I don't know what it is, right? So to me, self-love comes from recognizing your insecurities, and then of the insecurities I have, what could I do about that? If you're insecure about your fitness level, well, that's something you can do, right? If you're insecure about, how you talk to the other sex or communicate, like you can read books or practice and get to know friends. If you're insecure about your job and you can invest in courses and classes, like if you're insecure about the size of your forehead, well, yeah, you're just going to have to live with it.
Just get bangs.
Yeah, just get banked. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things. So like to me, self-love has to do with acknowledging your insecurities, accepting the things you can't control, and doing something about the things you can, right? I think that's like an AA mantra or whatever. But there's a lot of truth to it. And I think some people stop at the, if I love myself, I'll just look in the mirror and say I love you. And then they're lying to themselves because there's things they're not okay with, but they're too afraid or don't have the strength to do something about it. And they have to find the strength, right? If you're insecure about, like you're getting older and you're aging, but you smoke every day, well, that might be hard, but like smoking ages you and it's very unhealthy. And you got to do something about it, or you don't. But like, self-love is not just loving that you are a smoker kind of thing.
Well,
right?
I also think that this has a lot to do with the fact that, which I only realized after all of this happened, that I'm not very familiar with rejection. Like one of your biggest red flags is the fact that someone has never been broken up with. And that's me. Like all of my bigger relationships ended just like mutual. And I've never been fired from a job. So I figured that.
So this is such a win. This is such a great opportunity that you're just kind of.
Right.
And the more
someone rejected me.
Yeah, it's like that's an ego thing. If you never face disappointment, then your ego goes unchecked. It just becomes this thing that is
right. Yeah.
And we all have to continue to manage our egos. We don't want to eliminate our ego again because it can give us confidence. It can give us motivation. It can keep us sharp. It can stop us from getting lazy, right? And too comfortable with our surroundings because, but you have to, managing your ego is a constant thing. It's nothing that you're ever going to master or should, right? And this opportunity, the fact that you got cheated on is a reminder and probably a good thing for you. So, I just think the fact that you work with this guy, you should be aware of the fact that that's not a normal. Most people don't have to deal with that. So you run the risk of your ego always being in some way invested in the situation because you're just constantly reminded of it. So like if you have the self-awareness to say like, ew, right? So every time you're like, oh, fuck, why did I do that? Why did I like go out of my way to seek his validation? And you just be like, my ego. Right? But like, yeah, self-love is never going to get you to the point. Like, like you're almost framing your question, like, how do I love myself so much that I never have an ego or I won't care about these things? Eventually, like, this is not about self-love. This is about just controlling your ego, right? This is about like having a situation that, you work with this guy and you notice you're doing this thing and you don't know why because you don't even like him anymore. And just saying, well, that's my ego just acting up. And I don't think it means you don't love yourself, right? No. So,
So basically what you're saying is just like stop in the moment and be like, why am I doing this to myself?
Yeah, and just recognizing it's your ego, right? And that's your answer. Because you're literally asking the question, why am I doing this? Great, ego. All right, well, I can move on and have lunch and think about something else.
Yeah.
But seriously, but sometimes people don't like have the self-awareness to recognize their ego, and then they're like, why do I do I like him? Why? Maybe, I don't know. Like, is it me? Like you start going down this rabbit hole of questions and self-doubt. But like, don't be afraid to just recognize you have an ego, and recognizing you have an ego stops you from like thinking you need to work on self-love. I mean, it's always great to work on self-love, like great. Like it's always good to keep checking in with yourself and making sure that you are accepting yourself for who you are and you're not being too hard on yourself. But not recognizing your ego, like you run the risk of being like, well, I have to, be hard on myself because I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't, seek his attention. And there must be something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have an ego, and you're just not used to this. And then you're also in a situation where you're constantly reminded. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's just recognizing it and then checking yourself, just saying no to yourself. Stop it. You've essentially met your ego. You being cheated on was like, hey, well, nice to meet you for the first time. You were always there, but I just we never spoke, and now we can, and now I know how to control you. So use this information as you go out and date, and yeah, you should be better for it if you just keep checking in.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations. What a great moment for you in your life.
Thank you.
All right. And then the fact that you work with them, it sucks, but don't fault. Just.
No, it's good because he gained a lot of weight and he's just like, ew.
That's your ego talking, though. It doesn't matter. That's your ego. You're literally, that was you. Your ego popped up, took over your body, and said, seriously. So when you get better at recognizing that. It's literally people always ask me, how am I good at getting advice? Because when you say that, that's what I hear. I don't even see you anymore. I see your ego. You're lying to yourself. And these little lies we tell ourselves. So, practice that. That's
right.
All right.
Will do.
All right. Take care. Best of luck. Thanks for calling.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. How's it going?
Good.
What's your name?
How are you? I'm Heather, 33.
Hi, Heather. How can I help?
All right. So I have been separated from my ex-husband since January, going through a divorce currently. So I moved on to a dating site pretty quickly after the separation. The marriage was definitely over long before then, but got that get over to get under person out of the way, and then was actually talking to another guy at the same time, and we had this connection. It was weird. We had not a lot in common, but could talk about a lot of things in common. And he was a bud tender, so he worked at a dispensary, so we had a huge weed connection going on, and always talked about hanging out and smoking. We talked on the phone for hours sometimes, after work, and I would get good morning messages. We would send voice messages, long voice messages or whatever, and then he lived 20 minutes away, and we didn't meet. We talked about meeting. We never met. And it stayed that, kind of consistent, every day talking a lot. The morning messages were a lot. And then his grandma passed away.
So to summarize what we have so far.
Yeah.
Separated from your husband, going through the divorce process, had a nice little hookup, get it out of your system. That person moved on. Then you connected to another person via dating apps.
Well, okay, so I met both of them on the dating app at the same time.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
But the person who's sending you these morning messages and a lot of heavy, heavy stuff in the morning, messages, long conversations that lived 20 minutes away that you hadn't met.
Yeah.
It was someone you met on a dating app. And
yes, he was somebody I met on a dating app.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So then his grandma passed away, and she was from California, so he left. He was gone for a couple of weeks, and when he came back, we didn't conversate in the same way, the consistency, every morning, but we followed each other on Instagram. He actually liked my pictures while we were on the phone, just laughing that we had followed each other, and then we Snapchatted each other 3 or 4 times a week, responded to each other. I would say even to this day, we still talk in some sort of communication 2 or 3 times a week, but not the way it was.
Okay, so up until his grandma passed, him living 20 minutes away, how long was this heavy communication going on for?
3 weeks,
3
maybe
weeks.
4.
And why did you guys not make an attempt to meet in person?
So for me, and I know this was like, I didn't expect to have that connection with him because I was literally went onto a dating app for the post like the post sex thing or post breakup sex or whatever. And so I had kind of told him that like my energy, I was trying to get my energy right and kind of like get rid of like the negative stuff from my marriage or whatever. And I wasn't quite ready to like share energy with him yet because it was like more than just a casual connection. Like there was like, regardless, we were going to be friends.
So
like,
did he make an attempt to meet up with you in person and you were more like, hey, I'm just not ready? Or
I mean, we talked about it a lot on the phone and like I think we just kind of came to an understanding. Like I wasn't ready. He was going through like some weird stuff with his ex-girlfriend and it just, I think we were good with what we were talking, like, I don't know. Okay. We should have.
Just to be clear, there was an actual conversation around it. And from your point of view, there was kind of a mutual, like, it's not the right time to meet in person yet.
Yeah.
But
like I wanted to.
Sure. But you just, no doubt, and maybe he did too, but you guys did talk about it and then decided that we're not doing it yet. But the heavy text messages still continued up until his grandma passed away. And then now you're still talking to him, but the intensity has diminished.
Yes. Okay. Then he comes back to he went to California, came back to Colorado, was back here, and then that's when we were like, okay, we're gonna meet up because he would planned on moving back to California in August. So it was a deal. We were gonna meet up. We were gonna make it happen. We just didn't plan anything. Well, like on Instagram, I noticed that he was back in California, so I hit him up and I was like, hey, like you left. He's like, yeah, crazy roommate situation, had to bounce real quick. It was like literally like decided one day and left the next. So obviously we're not meeting. So like the conversation, like we still talk, like whatever. Well, my ex decided to creep on my Instagram, saw that this guy liked my picture, saw that we followed each other, went to this guy's Instagram and blew him up in the middle of the night. Like sent him crazy messages. Like my ex was toxic. So I was just mortified. And like, we hadn't ever talked about how toxic my marriage was. So this guy just kind of went, okay. And then I messaged him like, I'm so sorry. Like, like it's a few months in now, he's realizing it's really over. So he's like losing his mind. He laughed it off and just was like, well, I should have replied like, that's your ex-wife and I should have fucked her when I could have. And I was like, but he didn't say that to him. Like he didn't send that message. And I was just like, okay, but like we had so many chances to just even meet up, but okay.
And you still have you ever met this guy yet in person?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
So then like he also creates music. So then my ex goes to his YouTube and is like, oh, these lyrics are about my wife and like weird stuff, just like mortifying me. And I'm like, this guy's never going to talk to me again. It's fine. Like, okay, there goes that friendship or whatever. And then instead he's like, you should just fly out here to San Diego and we'll just like go on a bunch of dates and hang out and like our friendship chemistry, like, cause we FaceTimed, like we video chatted before he left and everything.
Oh, so you FaceTime. This is not just text. So he's real. So off the bat, we know.
Yeah, no, we've talked on the phone. We video chatted. Like we follow each other on every social media. And so.
And now he's not 20 minutes away. Now he's in San Diego.
Yeah. So did he ask me that because I'm not 20 minutes away anymore? And like, I would have to fly all the way to California to go see him.
Where
like, why
you?
now? Like,
where are you?
Huh?
Where are you?
Colorado.
Okay. And that's your question is like, why?
Yeah. So like, what made him like, and now he's just like, then we talked for like 2 solid days straight. I got good morning messages again. And like, just was like, hit me up talking like we should have linked up. We should have like made it a point. And I'm like, but because my ex blew you up, that's why we should like, I'm confused. Like,
yeah.
why?
I mean, I sorry to bum you out. I don't have like, here's exactly what's going on and here's what he's going to do. I mean, I do have things I can tell you to do or not do. I mean, listen, I think it's super weird for people to text super intense romantic things and having never met in person.
But it wasn't romantic. Like we never had
I can't wait to, or sexual, like, I mean, whatever you're describing is Was it heavy?
We never traded nudes. There was never even a
give me an
sexual
example of
conversation.
what he was texting you in the morning.
Well, I hate my job, unfortunately. So he would just like encourage me to have a good day and like talk about what he was doing at work, send me a bunch of pictures of like flowers and, you know, because he worked at a dispensary and yeah, no, it was like a friend thing. It was like very good friend chemistry. Like I didn't really see a romantic side of it, and I'm attracted to him, that's for sure, you know, like, but
I mean, I think here's what you should do. Like, stop trying to figure out things that have so many unknowns, right? We can sit here and guess, right? You can call your girlfriends and be like, what do you think? And be like, oh my God, like, I know the exact same situation, and project things that they hope happen in their life, right?
Right.
This is a guy who you've had some communication with. He seems to have shown an interest in your life. You have a lot of knowns. You have a lot of unknowns in your life as well. He might be sitting here thinking, I don't know, talking to this chick. She seems cool. I'm attracted to her. I don't know. She got going through a divorce. I don't know. Like, you know, also he's got shit going on in his life. Think of all the other things that you have going on in your life that don't relate to him. And like, you haven't met him. So he's not the center of your universe, and you're not the center of his universe. So what you do is you decide for yourself, do I want to meet this guy? I don't, you know, do you have an invite to meet him? Sure. Now you can go to San Diego and not like him. He could not like you. It might not live up to the expectations both of you have, and there will be expectations, whatever they are. If you decide to hook up with him there, just know, as we've talked about before, there are no guarantees. There are no assurances. Whatever text you, whatever he's feeling in the moment, whatever you're feeling, you don't have an established emotional connection or foundation. There's no real trust. There's no real relationship. It's just fun, exciting. You're all in each other's feelings, and feelings are confusing. So if you decide to hook up with him, just know you're doing it for yourself because you like him. If you decide, I really like this guy, and you know, I don't want to just hook up with you because I want to see where this goes, then decide that for yourself, right? You know, if you do decide to hook up with him, he will like decide what he thinks about having sex with you as part of his decision if he wants to keep hanging out with you, because he doesn't have enough information. I'm not going to tell you whether he's going to keep hanging out with you or not. Again, a lot will have to do with how everything else is going. You just have to decide to hook up with him for yourself, knowing that there are no guarantees.
Well, and I'm about that life right now because I'm single. I'm not ready for a relationship. I just like, and I know, like, I've heard you talk, like, if guys and girls can really be just platonic friends.
Well, so what do you want out of this? Is that what you want? You want a friendship?
I mean, like, I love it. Like, I would be down to go out to San Diego and just hang out with him. Like, no expectations. But then he throws in, like, the date thing. And I'm like, I would like to not have that expectation that it has to be about
I don't think you should fly
dating.
to San Diego for a guy that you want to be pals with.
I would make a whole trip out of it. My best friend would go with
Okay,
me. It wouldn't be
I
just
mean,
about
listen,
him.
that's the thing. It's just like, how many times have you met you know, I mean, you're straight, yeah? So.
I'm bisexual.
Oh, okay, you're bisexual. Okay, whatever.
Okay,
So for you, you could be attracted to men and women, but if I'm a straight guy, I don't fly out to visit women I'm interested in a platonic relationship with.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
That's true.
So as a bisexual person, you have to decide and set boundaries for yourself. While you might be physically attracted to men and women, you're also friends with men and women, and you still have platonic relationships. So you have to set those boundaries for yourself and be honest with yourself about what your expectations are. That's the only thing you can control. You can sit there and guess all these things that he might want, but even if you ask him, it's unclear whether he might not know what he wants, right? Like, yeah, let's be friends. Sure. You know, I don't know. You've never met this guy in person. You might meet him in person and like just love his musk and his, you know, whatever. And you're just like, you gotta have him. You might, who knows? So if you just like embrace the freedom that you have as a recently separated married woman, and just take life as it comes. You know, you're calling and asking me, well, what do you think is going on? I don't fucking know, and neither do you. And that's
I was overthinking,
and that's okay. Well, what's the worst that could happen? You know, the odds are this is a guy who is just going to be a stepping stone. You hooked up with a guy. You got the I needed to have sex with someone else out of your way. But you might have more of those. It's not like you have sex with one dude and now you're ready to have sustainable relationships, whether it's a platonic friendship or whether it's a romantic relationship. So just, if you're interested, go to San Diego. And if you have friends there, great. You know, just say, hey, you know what? You have friends in San Diego? Yeah.
Well, my best friend and I would go together and we would see her friends. So yeah, kind of.
So there you go. So
I would make it to,
plan a trip to San Diego that's not just about seeing this guy.
Okay.
Right? And then you let them know and be like, I definitely want to see you. A part of me coming out here is to see you. Don't play it so cool. Be like, I'm just happen to be in San Diego. You know, because you don't know. There's a chance, there's a chance you go with your girlfriend to San Diego and this guy ghosts you, disappears. Everything's on the table. We don't know. You know, this guy has, you already told you, he's been a bit inconsistent, a little hot and heavy with morning texts. Then after grandma dies, he disappears, and who knows? Maybe he was going through something. We don't know.
Yeah.
So just see where it goes. Nothing can possibly disappoint you because you have very little expectations about a situation you have very little information on. So you're just being realistic with your expectations. So this is a really good time to be really just, if love finds you, great, but don't be looking for it right now and just enjoy life and then still process your divorce, still deal with that so that if you do meet someone that you don't bring unnecessary stresses into the relationship, you know?
Yeah. Kind of why I didn't meet him in the beginning, you know, because I didn't want to carry that.
But either way, that stress found him anyway. So, you know, just
sadly,
just take it. I mean, the biggest. Take it easy on yourself. And when you are overthinking, thinking about what is the thing that I'm most afraid about? What's causing me to overthink? What's the anxiety that's creating this overthinking? When you're overthinking, there's something that you're pining over and there's something that you're afraid to happen. And what is that thing? And then answer that question and just be honest with yourself.
Okay. I'll definitely do that.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Best of luck. Good luck.
Glad I didn't ask you for no marriage advice because I know what you would have said. So.
Yeah. Well, usually if you have to ask me, we know the answer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck. Hey, congratulations on the divorce. Enjoy this period in your life. I will. If you see it as exciting, it will be exciting.
Yes. And it has been thus far. So
all right.
I appreciate it.
Best of luck.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
You too. Bye-bye. What a home run episode. Congratulations to me. Thank you for listening. Can't thank our callers enough. Hey, don't forget to send in your questions. Ask Nick at castmedia.com. Cast with a K. Certainly need those questions. Keep them coming. Keep them interesting. We can't thank you enough for being so vulnerable. Don't forget to rate us 5 stars. We'll be back tomorrow again with Chriselle Staus recapping The Bachelorette. Peace.